What's good, gang? It's Kelvin here for Boston's Food Lab, and today I'm going to be cooking salmon with a spinach and parmesan sauce served on a bed of creamy mashed potato. Okay, let's get straight into it. Okay, so on to our ingredients here. So the main star of the show here, I've got 4 fillets of salmon. Here I've got 12 cherry tomatoes. I've got 1 small white onion that I've finely diced. 2 big handfuls of spinach. I've got 1 spring onion that I've diced up. I've got about 75 grams of parmesan cheese. Some capers that I'll be using, 2 tablespoons. I've got some garlic here, 4 cloves of garlic. And here I've got a mixture of seasonings. There's 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, garlic pepper, fish seasoning, and some rock salt that I've just mixed up together. And here a glass of white wine. And if you could just make out over here on the pot getting ready to boil, I've just diced up some potatoes. That was like 5 medium-sized potatoes. Okay, so now what I'll do with my seasoning, I'm not going to use it all. I'll save some for my sauce a bit later, but you're just going to want to get it on your salmon. Sorry, so both sides. Okay. Just give it a generous amount. Pat that in. This salmon, by the way, I've washed it and just pat it dried with a paper towel. Okay, we'll flip them over and do the other side. I've left the skin on the salmon because it forms well. If you take the skin off, it tends to break up in the pot. You don't want that, so the skin will help to keep it intact. Okay, my potatoes are boiling in the back. Now I've got my skillet with 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil heating up. So I'm just going to go in and place my salmon skin side down. I'll give it about 1.5 minutes on each side. It's going to carry on cooking in the sauce when I do that. So you don't want it too overdone. So again, yep, so 1.5 minutes we'll give it, and then we'll flip it over. Okay, we'll just have a look on the other side. Okay, that's giving a lovely golden brown colour. You don't want it to burn. It's exactly right, so we'll just take these out now, set them aside. Now you're just going to want to drain off some of the oil and put a bit of butter in there. So I'm going to go and do that now. So I'm going to go in now with a generous amount of butter. And my heat is on a medium to low heat. By the way, I did forget to mention, you are going to need some double cream. I'm going to use this is 270 millilitres, I'm going to use about 250 will be fine. Okay, so once your butter's melted, you're going to go in with your garlic and get that nice and toasted. You don't want it to burn, but garlic does burn quite quickly. Use my fingers, sorry. So what you want to do is just keep on moving it around. About 30-45 seconds or so would do. Again, you don't want to burn the garlic. Just get it nice and toasted, let it release its aromas and the fragrance. At this point now I'll go in with my onions and my spring onions. Again, just till your onions soften up a bit, so maybe about a minute or two, and we should be ready to go in with our chopped tomatoes. At this point now, while the tomatoes are softening, this is when we'll go with our glass of white wine. Okay, give this a few minutes just to let the alcohol really cook out a bit. You just want the flavour of the wine more than the actual intoxicating effects. If you are someone that does get intoxicated from one glass of wine, but that's not me. Let's go in now. I'll go in with my 2 tablespoons of capers. Okay, these capers will set off a really lovely, like, citrusy aroma. It really does go well with fish. I love it. I'm just going to increase the temperature of my fry just a bit, just to again help to cook out the alcohol. At this point we'll go in with the double cream, 250 ml. Once the cream is heating up and starting to cook out, we'll put our parmesan cheese. Put the cheese in stages, just a bit at a time, let it melt. I haven't even seasoned it yet, but the aroma's coming through of just the natural ingredients. You really do need to try it. So we can go now and put the rest of our dried seasonings in. This will give it a bit of a colour. Now it is going to look like a lot of spinach, but spinach when it's cooked it really does reduce down. So it's full of water mostly, so once that all comes out then your spinach really does shrink up and You'll be thinking, well, what happened to all that spinach I put in there? Where's it gone? But no, it is there, believe you me. So. Just let that cook out for a couple of minutes. So once this has come up like it has now to a rolling boil, what we want to do is turn your fire down again to medium to low. And then you can go back in and place your salmon again, skin side down. Put all the juices in there. You just want to spoon over some of that lovely sauce onto your salmon. I can put the fire down even more. That's lovely. So we can get that covered and leave it for about 10 minutes. Our potatoes are looking done. I'm just going to give it the knife test, but they do look nice and soft. So there they are. So I'll just give it another minute, and then we'll be ready to drain that and start making our mash. Okay, get the potatoes back on the lowest possible fire you can. Just going to let it dry out a little bit. And I've actually just realised I don't have my potato masher, so I'm going to have to improvise. But if you did have a masher, it would be a lot easier for you. So what will I do? See how... Break them down. I'm going to go with a wooden spoon, and luckily I do have a whisk. I'll use that in a bit. Cup of milk here that I'd normally like to use in my potatoes. We're just going to add that gradually. You don't want it to get too wet, but this will help you to mash the potatoes as well. This next step is totally optional, but I do like to use a bit of cream cheese here. It will give it a really creamy flavour to your mash. And so there we go. 1 tablespoon of cream cheese. Looking perfect. And I'm going to season it now with just a pinch of black pepper. And a pinch of table salt. Taste test. Perfect. There we have it, guys. That's perfect creamy mash. If you can see that, the texture, everything is perfect. This is going to be so good. And our salmon has been going away for 10 minutes. Practically done as well. So all that's left is to get plated up. Okay, there we have it, guys. Salmon with spinach and parmesan sauce on a bed of mashed potatoes. Now I'm just about to go and dig into this now. So if you like this recipe and you want to see more like this from me, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, I'll see you next time.